Oh hi there, been a few days. Instead of an LFR video where I just recap games, because there's been 2 games since the last time I did an LFR video, let's talk about a few things. And I'm gonna start with what I've been putting off. William Nylander. And now that I'm about to do a video on him, you know he's gonna get signed, so ahead of time, you're welcome. It's been the #1 question I've been asked, bar none, what's going on with Nylander? And the answer is I'm not Elliot Friedman or Chris Johnson, so I don't know. Chris Johnson did come on the podcast, this was a few weeks ago now, and he said that Nylander's probably looking for a 5 or 6 year deal. Luke Fox, also of Sportsnet, came on the next week and said the exact same thing. A 5 or 6 year deal is kinda good for both parties. It's better for Nylander. Team probably gets him cheaper now, but it's still pretty long term, just not the longest, which is 8. The issue is once those 5 or 6 years are up, you have to pay him. So it would be a way for Nylander to cash in twice, once now and then get an even bigger payday when he's in his prime. Sometimes you watch him play, it's hard to believe he's not already in his prime. I mean, I don't know if he's Tyler Ennis yet. And by the way, quick side note for all the people who are going, Nylander better sign soon because Tyler Ennis is gonna take his job. Stop that. At the very same time, you can believe that Tyler Ennis is both good and a good pickup, and that he's not William Nylander. But hey, I get excited about preseason hockey too. Now, Elliot Friedman talked about Nylander before the second Leafs-Sabres preseason game, and he talked about the comparables. Nikolai Ehlers of the Winnipeg Jets was a really good one. 7-year contract, $6 million per. I'm like, yes, that is both good and fair. I like that, yes. Another good comparable was David Pastrnak, aka Satan, and I'm like, yes. 6 years times 6. Glad Miro Shatan never signed that deal or became a devil. Satanism aside, I look at the numbers and I go, yes! I think any Bruins fan alive would tell you, yeah, I like that contract. So what the heck is the holdup? Leon Draisaitl, 8 years times 8.5. Can somebody name one thing that the Oilers don't ruin? Friedman theorized that the Nylander camp would be looking for a Draisaitl type deal, and why wouldn't they? It's a very player-friendly deal. But I'm not panicking, and I don't think any Leafs fan should panic. The key takeaway for me from what Fried said is Nylander wants to be a Leaf, and the Leafs want him to be a Leaf. Great. Sometimes the team is not so sure about the player. I think back to the contract that the Montreal Canadiens signed PK Subban to. Sometimes you got a player who's not totally sure about the team, so they ask for a lot more money to put up with that team. But there was a mutual liking for the Toronto Maple Leafs and William Nylander, and I think that's beautiful. It would be great to get Nylander on an 8-year contract because after Matthews and Marner are locked up next summer, you basically just have to plan your spare parts. There's your core of murderers for the better part of a decade, and all you gotta do is fill out the rest of the team. Which is what most of these Stanley Cup contending teams over the past decade have done successfully. Look, players can't deal with ifs. If you do this, if you do that. Look, you're trying to set up the rest of your life with these contracts, so you can't rely on maybes. But if William Nylander is a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs when, not if, when they win the Stanley Cup, he's set forever. Wherever there is a Leafs fan, not just in Toronto, not just in Ontario, not just in Canada, anywhere in the entire world, his children will never have to pay for anything ever again. Nylander's dad will never have to pay for a drink for the rest of his life, and that guy wasn't even a Leaf. Willie, buddy, work with me here. You got your little Reebok deal. Sign the thing. Now there was talk about the whole Draisaitl-McDavid comparison. Well, one looks at the contract of the other and says, well, they're very highly paid. And Nylander might be looking at the $11 or so million that Austin Matthews is allegedly going to get and going, well, I would certainly like something close to that. Just take the cap hit and make a little side deal, a little handshake, a little gentleman's agreement with Austin Matthews that whenever you hang out, he's got to pay for dinner and Fortnite skins and hot packs to sign the thing. But I'm not worried. I know I sound like I'm yelling, but it's September 23rd. 30 days has September. I think within the next week, the Leafs and Nylander will come to an agreement. It's easy for me to look at it like this because I'm not an NHL player, but no matter what contract you sign, you're going to be paid. You're going to have generational wealth. I think Tampa Bay is the best team in the league on paper, which is a problem for you because they're in your division. And look at how they're made up. A bunch of discounts. Take the deal. Hustle your little Instagram off. Hoist a cup above your head as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs and never worry about anything ever again. But I don't work for the Leafs. I just yell about them. That's my 2 cents. If his annual cap hit is less than 7, I'll be pretty happy. 6.9 would be nice. Something around the 7.5 range would be relatively acceptable because obviously the cap is going up, so cap percentage, I understand that. But when it goes to 8 and up, that's when I wince a little bit. As for whether or not you should be worried, Dubas said it himself. He can, and he will. So with that said, he better. So, the Leafs passed 2 games. Victory, puppies, boys! Oh my goodness, Mason, no, you're new to this. Here, sit. Oh, good boy, new victory puppy. Mason is actually Iggy's brother. They got the same mom and same dad. It's just he's from a different litter. Charlie's the referee. Stop talking and give us treats, you hyper man. Okay, oh, Mason, I threw yours. There you go, Charlie. Swimming in victory puppies. Let me swim. The Leafs win 5-3 over the Buffalo Sabres in Scotiabank Arena, that's going to take a while. And they picked up another win the next night, 3-2 over the Buffalo Sabres in Buffalo, or Toronto Southwest. And even though I know it was preseason hockey, it was very preseason hockey. Sloppy, and no one's really immune. In the first game, 30 seconds into it, Mitch Marner and John Tavares have some sort of miscommunication. Sabres take advantage of the giveaway and they score. Ron Hainsey with a dart to tie it, the type of dart that I didn't know he had. Josh Levo and Nazem Kadri especially did a great job creating havoc in front of the net to cause the goal. Pierre Engvall, oh, be still my beating heart, takes a feed from Colin Greening and buries it the way Pierre Engvall does. I'm not biased at all, I love him. The next goal was Tavares to Marner to Liljegren shot Tavares goal, which is picante. Leafs defense, Riley, I was surprised, let CJ Smith through the Leafs slot and Garrett Sparks just like, I'm doing my best! Sabres make it 3-2. That is the Leafs' top defensive pair, I'm not worried at all. Kadri with a hard pass to Marinson who, Marty. Carrick with the diving poke check and Connor. Tage Thompson, who it looks like a really good pickup for Buffalo, scores on poor Sparks. It's so hard to be a cusp player or a player who's on the outside looking in, trying to steal a spot on the team in the preseason. Like I said in a recent video, Calvin Pickard was in, faced 6 shots and 1 of them went in. Sparks faced 12 shots in this game, but 3 of them go in off of 3 terrible Leafs plays. That's the thing about goalies, you try to get a save. And on the second one in particular, I'm like, oh dear, the Sabres tied it. Chris Mueller puts the Leafs up permanently. John Tavares, even the empty netters are good. Leafs win 5-3, but am I glazing over something? Oh yeah, Curtis McElhinney goes in, faces 20 shots, stops them all. And I think 21 of those 20 shots came in the final 90 seconds. He was a brick wall. And now, geez, here's the thing. Garrett Sparks is 25 and coming off a season where he was the best goalie in the American Hockey League and won the Calder Cup. Calvin Pickard is 26, was Sparks' tag team partner, also did well, also won a Calder Cup, and he has 87 games NHL experience in which he did pretty well. And there's Curtis McElhinney, who's 35, who at like 33 and a half discovered that he's a Vezina candidate. The Leafs got some decisions to make because if they're not careful, they might lose Sparks or Pickard or both for free on waivers. Or they could potentially put McElhinney on waivers and lose him, but you could argue that's not as big of a tragedy because he's much older and you should just pass the torch anyway. Every brain cell in my head tells me that's the smartest thing to do, except for the one brain cell at the back that can't help but yell and scream that all McElhinney does is stop pucks. Every game he plays, I go, look at how weird he looks in the net. And every game I'm watching him stop pucks, like, at this point it's funny. And I honestly don't know what Babcock's gonna do because he's a you need to earn the spot type of guy. Pickard, Sparks, and McElhinney, who's performed the best? I know my answer. And don't go yelling at me. I can't believe it either. Quickly going through game 2. Wow, Matthews looks good. Wow, Marlowe looks good. Wow, Ennis is not Willie, but still, hey, he is pretty good. Freddie got scored on twice in 21 shots, but they were from Okposo and Skinner. At least have it be from the Sabres NHL players. Which, speaking of Skinner, boy, Eichel too. That whole Sabres top line looked good. Rasmus Dahlin with a couple giveaways and getting caught flat-footed. That's gonna happen. Not only is he an 18-year-old, and not only is he getting used to the North American ice, but he's also a defenseman. I gotta imagine that little change in timing has got to be hard for wingers to cope with, let alone a defender. We enter the second period with the Leafs down 1-0. That Ennis pass and the Matthews tip. Austin Matthews makes tips look good. He just put that right where he wanted to put it. Justin Hall putting one on and Jeremy Bracco getting the tip. The Leafs have the lead. There's that Skinner goal we talked about, but Sabres. Leafs with a power play in the third. Adam Brooks gets it to Calle Rosen at the point. He puts it on. That's a nice shot there, Callie. Leafs win. But on that goal and on the previous goal, I was most impressed with someone else. Brooks got assists on both the Rosen goal and the Bracco goal, but only getting the assist on the Rosen goal, but key in both, Trevor Moore. I was singing his praises during the Calder Cup playoffs last year. I criticized him in my last video. Credit where credit's due. Trevor Moore was active and involved. Didn't matter whether he was feisty and digging in the corners or he was just skillful, he came out with the puck, and his work behind the net and in the corners led to 2 of the Leafs' 3 goals. And remember I mentioned McElhinney? Oh my goodness, how is anyone going to pass him? Calvin Pickard faced 14 shots in this one, stopped all 14. I am not going to say, oh, that puts Sparks 4th now. Like, I just don't know what the Leafs are going to do. Heck, they might be able to sneak 2 of those guys on waivers and have neither of them get claimed. Not a ton of teams around the league that need goalies. A couple other notes. Wow, that Andrew Nielsen-Tage Thompson fight, there was some anger there. And on the part of Tage Thompson, I can't say I disagree. And Nielsen's a tough guy. He'll go, yeah, he fought in the rookie tournament, he fought here. I just hope he doesn't get like pigeonholed into that role. If given the opportunity, if he earns the opportunity, of course, that guy can put up a lot of points from the back end. From the first game, Simeon Dargachintsev, congratulations first of all on signing that contract. I'm just going to call you SDA from now on. He's obviously going to go back to junior, but boy, he looks like he belongs. Per Lindholm, I've actually been very impressed with. I've liked him so far. After getting called out for a bit of a sleepy performance, I thought Kasperi Kapanen was excellent in the second game. Grundstrom playing less than 12 minutes, not great, but you know, I liked his performance too. Zaitsev, I didn't notice all that much, which is wonderful. Gardner played 25 and a half minutes in the second game. I don't know what that's about. I mean, congratulations, by the way, he's a daddy now, and he hadn't played any preseason games. Maybe that's why he was fresh. Or maybe that guy ends up on the first pair at some point. Now, I'm going to make a prediction for the Leafs bottom pair. You're all worried about William Nylander and that contract situation. I am more worried about Travis Dermott. That guy missed some AHL playoff time because of his shoulder, and now he's out in the NHL preseason. Shoulder. My bet is that guy starts the season on the injured reserve. And actually, I kind of think that's what should happen. He's going to be an important part of the Leafs going forward. He's going to be an important part of the Leafs this season. Make sure he's fully recovered. And that gives an audition, an extra audition for some guys who have kind of earned it. I've talked about how Borgman excites me. Rosen in the playoffs? Earned it. And then there's a log jam on the right side of Carrick, Hall, and Ozhiganov. I'm not certain there's a lot between them. Which brings me to a bone that I have to pick. We always got to be aware of biases. Other people's biases, but especially our own. I think a lot of people are cheering for Marincin to make this team in the same way that for years now I've been like, come on, Connor Carrick. But I think the opposite is true for Ozhiganov. Because he didn't have a great KHL season last year, I think they took away his ice time because they knew he was leaving, to be honest. But because his numbers aren't there, people are, they're dismissing him like he's not even there. Guys, not only is he there, but he's looked okay for his first couple games on North American ice, and this guy is going to make the team because he's 6'2" and 210 pounds every time he gets on the ice. And while I like Ozhiganov for how little I've noticed him, except for when he gave Ristolainen the smelly glove, that was funny, I've really liked how much I've noticed Justin Hall. He got 2 assists, and those goals were a tip and a rebound, but the guy creates chances. Even though I kind of like Ozhiganov, I see Justin Hall as a good right-handed defenseman on this team. You go, well, the Leafs already have speed and skill and all that. No, they need stuff that complements that. I don't think they need to pull like, you shall not pass, as dozens of guys pass him anymore. Don't go for a great offense, go for an undeniable one, and I think Justin Hall helps that cause. Probably doesn't help that he was on the PK for a power play goal that went in like 8 seconds in. Where does that leave Connor Carrick? I don't know. But there's a guy who really better pull up his socks for the rest of the preseason. This video was late because it was waiting on waiver wire news, and for the Leafs, there is none. One final thing. Hey, you know my book? I'm writing a book. You know my book? Well, it's available for pre-order. And I say it like that because I didn't know that. I randomly had a link tweeted at me by Scott Wheeler. But since I tweeted out that it was available for pre-order, just the paperback, but still available for pre-order, a bunch of you, dozens of you have already pre-ordered it, and thank you so much. You've asked me so many questions, I'll try to answer them. When does it come out? March 19th, that's 6 months from now. When's the hardcover going to be available? The truth is, I don't know. I didn't even know this was available on pre-order. 3, what about an audiobook? We've already talked about it, me and the publisher. If I get my way, we're going to do it. And I'm going to voice it, obvi. Will it ship to this country, this country, this country, this country? Look, again, the truth is, I know very little at this point, but it's okay because there's still 6 months. Heck, the book is not even done. It's in copy editing right now, which is where they go through it like word by word, and by the end of it, I'm pretty sure I don't know English. Heck, the book doesn't even have a cover, but here are all the places that I've found online just by Googling that have the book available for pre-order if you're interested. It is available on ecwpress.com. ECW Press is the publisher of the book. It is available on chapters.indigo.ca. Chapters and Indigo, I guess, are the same thing apparently. It is available on barnesandnoble.com. It is available on amazon.ca. It is available on amazon.com. And it is even available on amazon.co.uk. I'll tell you now, spoiler alert, if you go to the Amazon links, be careful because at the bottom there is an excerpt. I personally don't like reading those because I like it to all stay a surprise. I personally don't mind if you read it. I'm happy if you do. Just know that that's not even the final version of what that chapter is going to be. And as of right now, that's all I know, man. I've got a couple things I want to add to the book, but for right now, I'm done. The publisher is handling stuff. We still need a cover, and we're working on that too. I feel bad because for most questions, I've been pretty useless, so you're going to want to go to ECW Press on Twitter, and hopefully they'll be able to help you out a little bit more. And if there's a lack of information, don't worry. 6 months. And all those links I mentioned, don't worry if you're too lazy to Google it. Links down below. All of them. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends that I'm writing a book. Willie, I'll give you a signed one.